Hello and welcome. Let's get started now on this piece. This is going to be our fixed piece, and it's going to look like this and follow you along on the page. So let's get to styling it. And quickly, before we style it, I don't like how it says buy now container. See, we don't have anything else labeled buy now, so let's just get rid of the word container. We'll know that buy now is a container, and our SCSS will become a little cleaner as we start to write it in product-CTA. The first thing we'll do is in product-CTA is end underscore underscore buy now. So let's change that position. We're going to give it a fixed position. And you'll see what that does once we run the SCSS. So yarn run SCSS. We'll save it, and now it's fixed. So now it's right over the other element. But what it'll really do is follow you along on the screen, and it doesn't know where to go, so it's starting right in the top left area. Let's move it over to the right there. So right, not left. Right will be 0. Let's take a look. Okay, we're on the right side of the screen now with it. It's way too big though. So we'll change the width now to 36%. And good, now we're in the right, but we're right up against the top and the right part of it. I would like to go ahead and move that down a bit and off the sidewall a little bit. So let's do those two things with margin. So margin, we'll do the top first, which is 3 rem. Then let's do the right, another 3 rem, and bottom will be 2 rem, right, left will be 2 rem. Let's take a look. Okay, now it looks like it's not part of that anymore. It's its own thing, and it's hanging out over here. It's hard to tell that this is part of the same element, so we should give it a different background color rather than this white here, and maybe some shadow and a border. We want this element to really stand out. So let's get started on all of those things. Background color first. Background color will be that color gray light. And now we see there's a little bit of a difference on the screen. We'll use a border of 1 pixel solid, and that will be color gray light again. Now that's that border coming across it now, looking really great. Of course, that border gets lost when the background is white. So we're also going to include a box shadow on this. So we'll do it first. We're going to just put this box shadow on it, and then I'm going to show you a problem with doing it first like this. We kind of have to set the size of the element before we do this. So 0.7 rem, 1.2 rem, and then RGBA, color black. And comma 2.2 for the alpha. And cool, you can see it on the side here and on the side here. But this piece is just too big due to the picture size. It's not going to be that big. It's going to be a bit smaller, as you can see. So let's get working on that first. Move this picture smaller, everything like that. That's inside of the buy now container. So inside of buy now, we are going to say end dash dash top. So this is the top portion, which is also just that image, so that image tag that we made before. 18 rem of height is what we'll give it, and a width of 100% of the space that's there. And when we say object fit, it will be to cover. And we can see it's much, much smaller now, but we need to go ahead and do something with this bottom. So we know that after this, we could go to end dash dash bottom, which is the container that contains that button, the price, and everything else that's in there. But in bottom itself, let's set up the display to a flex display, and then set that flex direction to column. Everything inside there should be a space between, so justify content to space between to really stretch those out away from each other as much as we can, and then set a quick margin. Now this margin will be 2 from the top, 2 from the right, 2 from the bottom, and nothing from the left. Let's take a look. Now, space between won't do a ton for us without us setting a height, but I would like this to be able to resize itself in case we decided the course includes is now going to have like 4 things in them or something like that. So I'm not going to set a height. We're going to let the height sort of be interpreted for the bottom. So the next thing we'll do is end dash dash to the price. Let's do a display on that as well, and that'll be flex. Let's align the items inside of there to the center and justify the content in there to the center as well. And we'll change the font size to a much bigger font size at 3.5 rem. And finally, let's do a font weight of kind of bold. So font weight of 600. And now we're looking good. Okay, great. So it moved towards the center, and we see that it's nice and large there. In the other one, we did have a $sign in front of it. Let's add that $sign in real quick in product fixed. That'll be by price. Where is that? That's right over here. So just a $sign in front of it. Cool. We made a good change there. We will move down now to our add to cart button right here. Let's work on that. So we have that here in our input right there. That's our add to cart. Let's do it. So inside of bottom, but after price, we'll write end dash dash add to cart. No, that's not end. Ampersand right there, and then add to cart. Okay, inside of add to cart, we're going to set a height for this button of 4 rem. We'll set a width of almost the entirety of it. We'll do 94%, so there is a little bit of room on the sides. The margin left will be 3%, and the margin right will be the other 3%. The margin top will be 2 rem from the top, give us a little bit of room on that add to cart button. We'll have no margin on the bottom and handle that with our next element having a margin top, since we did this one with this element having a margin top. Let's take a look real quick before we keep going. We can see it's bigger and it's not touching the sides here. There seems to be an issue here. Let's take a look as we get down to it. Here's the button. Even the price is over to the left a bit too much. Let's see, what did I do here? Oh, this margin. Yeah, this should be 2 rem on the left and the right, or we should handle that somewhere else. I think that's probably what we're dealing with. It is, okay. That is the problem. And honestly, we should just write this like that. And now we have the margin 2 rem all the way around, and they're both centered now. They look good. Okay. Yeah, so that was a mistake with this margin here. That's all it was. We still have a width of 94%. We move it off the left and the right 3% each. That worked perfectly. This is very even and looking good. So let's move on in our add to cart. Let's do our border radius because we want that nice circle there. So 10 rem rounded edges is what I'm looking for. There we go. Let's get rid of the border. Border none. That is gone. Great. Let's set a few more things like the color inside there. The color will be the color of the text. That will be our color gray light. We'll need a font size. Let's make that 2 rem inside of there. Font weight of the add to cart will be let's do 600, so pretty bold, but not completely bold. And the background color finally. And that will be our color, blue dash light. Let's take a look. Cool, this is starting to look really nice to me. Remember what happens when we click on these, there's this outline. Let's get rid of that. Outline, none. On top of it, we want the cursor to be a pointer. And then the WebKit dash appearance. So So WebKit appearance, right, none there as well. And remember, that's for phones. Save that up. What do we have here? I'm going to get rid of this for a moment so I can see the pointer coming on the screen. Okay, good. Now on hover, let's do some changes like we did up here so it looks cool when we hover over this button as well. So right after this, and hover. Inside of our and hover, let's flip the colors. So color will be the color blue light. The background color, that will be the color gray light. And we're going to need a border on this because we've done this before several times, and you see how it goes to nothing. What we did last time, we set a border up top and then it changed. Okay, so that's what we'll do this time. So what we did last time was we set a border here. Instead of border none, let's set 2 pixel solid, and then we'll do that color dash blue dash light. Great, now everything changes, but that border still stays there, and that looks good, except the transition is very, very fast. So change that transition to all in 0.4 seconds. Very nice. Now we have a very good looking button right over there. I'm going to move the page back to how it looked before. This is more of what a page will look like rather than my full screen version of the page. So below this we have the points. We have, of course, includes, and then we had the points medium, we called them. Those were actual point 1, 2, and 3, which will have a different font. So within the same area, we're still in the bottom here. We want to go to end dash dash points. Inside of points, we'll have a display of flex, a flex direction of column. We'll have a font size here of 1.6 rem. And finally, we'll do a margin. The margin here will be 3 rem, 3 rem, 2 rem, 3 rem. Here we are. Okay, we're starting to look good over here. I'm just going to move these off the top a little bit, and that'll be a pretty simple thing for us to do right now. We'll just go to the end medium selector. So we'll do an end dash dash medium. Inside of here is where we will do that margin top. Okay, and that margin top will be 2 rem, give us a little separation. And now we're looking good. This is looking like a nice piece, and you can see that it is resizing itself. And I did write that space between before. This is actually unnecessary because we have a resizing component on the bottom. Let me save that. And there you go. This is working perfectly, and we can keep on adding. It'll keep getting bigger. Unfortunately, it's getting so big that it's actually going under the bottom here. But we'll make another component right here, so everything will still be in view and scrollable, this topics covered component. So let's work on that right now. We'll head right into our product info, and inside of product info, we're going to make a new file. The file will be called product features.js. So we'll import React from React. Then we'll have our const product features. And there's our fat arrow functional component and export default. Product features. We will at first just return a div that says product features and bring this into our product page, which is down in our pages where it says product. So import it into your product page. So import product features from, and then find it. ./to components to product info to product features. Now, product features is going to be below the CTA because we're going to have a call to action on top. The features will be second, and if it gets too small to have this fixed component that moves with the screen, we're going to put it on the bottom. So this would be on the absolute bottom rather than having the call to action, a sale button here, and then the product features under it. We're going to put the sale button after the product features. So that's why we're going to put it here, and it is kind of important that you do put it here as later on. You won't be able to get the same result if you don't. So we have product features on the page, and there it is saying product features add us. All right, back into our products features page, and I'm going to bring up the dummy data real quick because we're going to make a list and I want everyone to understand what we're doing. In here, we're going to have some features right here. It's an array, and the array is an array of strings. Those are the features for our products. You can see them right here. So we're going to go ahead and map through this and return a nice element with the features. Back to product features, and we're going to import that first. Import courses from, and then we just have to find it up to inside of dummy data. Courses. Courses with an S there, courses. And now, just const, we're going to destructure features from courses at 0. And eventually, whichever product is clicked will wind up on the product page rather than just this one that we're choosing every single time. So our product features. So we need to have a topics covered. I'm going to get rid of this right here. And let's just finish out this return like so. Okay, so now we have a return that's wrapped, and our first div will have a class name. And it'll be product-features. And inside of there's just a div for the title and a div for the list itself. So the class name will be product-features __ title. And inside of there, just go ahead and write topics covered. That'll be the same for every product we have. Now under that is where we'll put our list. So class name will equal the product features list. So product -features __ list. And inside of there is where our list will eventually be. Save that up, see what's on the screen. There's our title for topics covered, and there's our list right after it. And just to go back real quickly, our list is going to look like this. So the list has this icon and then the word. So let's start making that. So above the return, we're going to make a const called make features. This will be our features list. So features.map. And we're going to call everything EL for element. And we can get started inside of here. We'll have a div, and the first div will have a, well, let me get that class name in there. We'll have a class name equal to products featured, products features __ feature, because this is just one feature. I know people don't love when we do it this way, but it does make some sense to me. If you have another way of doing it, you like it better, let me know. Maybe we can switch. And then we'll have a key here. The key will just be the element itself, because the element's a string, so it doesn't have things like element.position like we used in other places. And we know that a feature has two things to it. It has a check mark, and it also has the actual feature. It says the feature that we're listing. So let's do the check mark first. So we need to import something. We're going to import iOS check mark circle outline. Nice long name for us. And that comes right from React icons. and /2 IO, because that's the library we're going to pull it from. So here, let's make a div class name will equal, and it'll be all of this plus a little more. So I'll paste that in, and then we dash to check. That's the checkbox. Inside of there, put the actual iOS checkmark outline, make it self-closing. Now, we also need to return the actual text, and we don't need to do anything with that, really. Just return each element, because the element is the text. That's all that was in the dummy data, was just an array of strings. So when we return an element, it's going to be the string. So there we are, and let's now take this, make features, and put it where list is. And here we are. Okay, we have our topics covered, and then all those topics that are covered. And now we could finally see also the fixed element moving on the screen, and the bottom shadow that was really hard to see before because it was kind of ducking behind our footer. Let's work on some of that styling in SCSS. Down here, we'll make a new file. The new file is _product-features. .scss. Add import our variables /2 variables, and the first thing we could do is .product-features, and we'll save that up. And I do this all the time with that semicolon. Put that semicolon in there, then save that up, and we could go to the main and import it. Import / and it's product features. And now it is in there. I always like to restart this process whenever I put something new into the main import. So I'm just going to do that rather than run into a problem or not later. I like to just do it and get out of the way. All right, so in product features, there's a few things we want to do. A position of relative, a display of flex, a flex direction of column. We need the width to be the same as the one above it, so the width will be 56%. The padding will be 3 rem, and the min height will be 20 rem. This means even if there's not too much inside of here, it needs to be at least 20 rem so that this piece doesn't come off the page. You can see it's on the page here, and we saw before when this wasn't here, it was kind of off the page. So if we cover about 20 rem, this will always be sitting on the page properly. Well, let's start making it all look good now. So we will go from product features to the title. So end __ title. Let's do a font size for that of 2.8 rem, and since it's a title, we'll make it a bold, but not that bold. How about 600 for the font weight? And here we are with topics covered, looking a lot better already. The next thing we have is the list, but I actually want to first look at the feature. So that's for each feature. We need to display that as flex to move the, I'll show you real quick. So flex should have moved them side by side. That means I have a typing mistake somewhere. Product features __ feature is what we're looking for. Product features __ feature. Oh, I see. Products feature. And these little mistakes really come back to bite you. So product features every time. Okay. There we go. Now they're next to each other like I'd like them to be. Let's change that font size while we're doing this. Font size will be 1.8 rem. Cool. Now we're starting to look a bit better. This does look really, really messy at this point. So let's style this list. We'll go end __ list, and inside of here we'll do a position of relative, a display of grid, And we're going to do the grid template columns. Again, we've done this before, so I'm not going to explain it fully, but there's going to be a repeat, auto-fit, and then we're going to set the min max. So the min and the max, the min will be 36 rem. Once it goes below that, it's going to go to a new column, otherwise 1 fr. So take up as much space as you'd like otherwise. And then we'll have a column, we're going to have a column gap, but I'm not sure I've shown that yet. So here we are with our list. Now our list, if it gets big enough, and actually bigger than this, just big enough like that, you could see it go to 2 separate columns since we did the columns here. Now let's do our column gap. And our column gap will be 3 rem. And we'll have a row gap as well. That will be 2 rem. And we could see that here. So we could see that this is not going to 2 rows no matter what here. So we might have too big of a number for a min-max. Let's lower that down to 30 rem. And now it is on 2 different rows. Okay, let's work with this. I just want to give it a margin on the top and bottom now. So we'll just say margin. And then top and bottom is the first one. So I'm going to say 2 rem up and down, and then 0 everywhere else, meaning left and right. Cool, and now we have some separation from the top and some separation from the bottom. Now on the features, let's work on this checkbox here. So we have that end dash dash check in feature. So under that, end dash dash check. So our checkbox will have a height of 3 rem, a width of 3 rem, a font size of 3 rem, and a padding right of 5 rem. Now we could take a look. We have our nice checks and our text. This is looking really, really good. It looks a lot like this one, especially if we go to our inspector and make it a little smaller. You can see there it is. This is looking really good now. We have to make our page a little smarter, or at least this component a little smarter, so it doesn't run into our footer. So we will work on that as well as resizing everything for different breakpoints. And one of the coolest parts is going to be resizing this. I could show you in this app quickly. This will actually move to the bottom. So as we resize this smaller, there it is. It's a piece of the bottom here, and it looks pretty good. So we will be working on all of that on the next lessons. Thanks so much for being with me on this one. We're almost done with building some of this front end here, and we're going to take a break on that soon and move to the back end, work with Node.js, work with Express, MongoDB, Mongoose, do a lot of really fun work with that stuff. That's going to make this site actually usable by incoming users who can make accounts and make courses. And that's going to be really fun to do. Well, thanks for being with me on this one, and keep coding.